What's up, guys? It's Amazing Caucasian. It's a nice day out, so I figured I'd come out here and enjoy it a little bit and maybe, you know, talk about some things that been on my mind and everything. Especially, I've been wanting to, do this channel, do this type of stuff on this channel, talking about, you know, topics that I feel are relevant, and it's about time that I turned on the camera and started talking. So, because I had so much to say when other people are around, and then when there's not another person for me to bounce ideas off of, it's difficult for me to just sit here and unload stuff. But uh, first thing I want to get to is just being grateful for being able to not be sick when you get up in the morning and having to worry about where you're going to get cash to get this or that, having to figure out if you're going to have enough money to take the train, how far you're going to walk, if you could take the bus, this or that. And it's just, man, it's crazy. Never would I be just chilling out in the woods. And, near my neighborhood, just chilling, But I enjoy this shit. I like being out in nature and all that kind of stuff. When I was getting high and everything, your head's always down looking at the ground, you know what I mean? At least mine was, trying to find money or anything else that I can fucking find, you know? But I try to do what I feel is right and what makes me feel right. I have, when you get that gut feeling and shit, I let my instincts lead me, and I have read a ton of shit. And so I look at things from so many different perspectives, and I don't really, have one, ideology that I stick with. Like, I don't rep anything. I'm just me. Like, whatever things that I feel are logical is what I'm gonna go with. That's why, having to do with addiction and shit, I made sure I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could. I mean, I watched all kind of college classes on YouTube and everything. It sounds crazy, but really it's like Berkeley and Stanford and all these big name schools, and they post full lectures on YouTube. And so I watched so many, and they're only like an hour and 15 minutes, shit like that. And so I could learn the physiology of the brain and how the drugs actually chemically, what's that? Like how they synthesize in your brain, and how they, like when your brain absorbs it, what absorbs it, how does it absorb it, what's it do when it absorbs it, what chemicals are secreted, and all that type of shit. And I have it all written in one of those books that I showed you guys that I have notes in on the other video. And it's really interesting shit. And I've heard people say like, oh, that's not addiction, like, because I was watching it with a group of people a while back, and I'm like, they're telling you how when you do the drug, let's just say, for instance, opiates, how, it releases the dopamine, and then it produces more receptors because it's getting flooded, and then when you run out, it doesn't have enough for all the receptors anymore, so you get withdrawal. So people are like, oh, that's not about, drugs, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you must have just not listened to anything this dude just said. Because he just literally said what happens when that drug hits your bloodstream, and your bloodstream takes it to your brain, and bang, that's what happens. That's why you get that rush. So it's like, I was abused as a kid, so I developed a complex about my intelligence too. Like, I don't know if it's like what to call it, but when I want to know something, I have to know absolutely every detail I can possibly find, because I want to be able to answer any question I can, and if I don't know the answer to a question, I'm gonna find the answer and try to remember it, because I don't like knowing shit, because my mom's ex-boyfriend used to be like, oh, what the fuck, you don't know this shit? Da, 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 da. I was in first grade, because I didn't know, I wasn't very good with math, and I'm still not too great with numbers, but, to treat a kid that way, my mom was at work, so she wasn't there when he was doing this shit, so, but whatever. I'm gonna make videos about that stuff later on anyway. But yeah, it's so beautiful out, and it's nice to just be able to come out here and enjoy it and not have anyone, trying to have a leash on me, and, or a drug having, what's that, the proverbial ball and chain, I just, and when I do get down and I'm like, fuck, man, my life sucks, poor me, I do legit, I'll fucking eventually catch myself and be like, damn, I'm tired of hearing myself complain. My boy Cam will tell you about that one. He'll love to tell you about how much I cut him off when I cut people off when they talk, because when I get an idea in my head, I forget it so fast that I have to get it out sometimes before they finish their thought, because I'm gonna forget it within the next couple of seconds. And I'm lucky if I can hold that thought for long enough for them to finish a full thought. But I try, but it doesn't always work out for me. But yeah, I don't want to make this video real long. I just wanted to say, I'm grateful for, how my life is, even though it, at times it could really suck. But I'll tell you what, I used to be sleeping on the concrete in the snow, okay? So that was back in 2013. So my life's a lot better than it used to be. Hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Facebook. If you have any suggestions for, things you want to know, things you want me to, talk about, stuff like that, hit it, drop it in the comments, or, whatever. Hit me with a message, anything. So I'm on this shit to interact with everybody, because I just want to get my voice out there, because I know there has to be people that have the same views as me, and not everybody in my local vicinity is one of those type of people. So I want to be able to bounce ideas off of people that aren't trying to be in an echo chamber and have the same thoughts driven into their head every time they talk. I want to be able to have a diverse discussion of different ideas, and everybody just be able to be chill with everybody's fucking points of view, and let everybody talk and shit, you know what I mean? Because I'm interested in seeing why people behave the way that they do sometimes, like, there's so many people with so many diverse points of view, but nobody wants to really listen to each other, and it's sad, because you see people trying to scream over each other, or scream at each other, cursing at each other, calling each other names, and that doesn't get any discussion, that doesn't progress any dialogue in a good direction. It's the worst way to come across. Just try to convey your thoughts, your ideas, and then if there's a contradiction, there's a contradiction. If somebody finds a flaw in your idea, just like if you find a flaw in someone else's idea, you want to be free to express that you see that flaw. So, why can't another person do that to you? And it's crazy, because it's like, or somebody will say, oh, you can't talk about that because you aren't that. Like, yo, what are you even talking about? Like, you don't know where I come from, so you don't know who I grew up with or anything like that. Like, oh, like, I'm an ally with the LGBTQ people or whatever. Like, you know, I don't hate on none of them. I don't hate on anybody really. But like, you know, if I have an opinion on it, people try to tell me that it's not relevant. But little do they know, my dad was gay, and I grew up being around him, and he was with the same partner for 15 years. He died when I was 16, almost 17, and that was March 30th, 2001. I'll discuss that if you guys want me to discuss that. I'm sure there's a lot of people that lost their parents and shit. I lost him to HIV. He had HIV, and and then he developed cancer. And then within a year, the cancer took his life. So, because then he developed another virus that attacked his heart, and he had a heart attack. And then 5 days later, like, I was up there for that whole 5 days, and then, you know, when I left, he died. So it was like he was waiting. He didn't want to die when I was up there. So, but that story's pretty crazy. Like, yeah. But my dad taught me so many good things. But anyway, so yeah, you know, you don't know where people come from. So just like, you know, where I grew up is, you know, predominantly minority. And then when I have my opinions about the minority community, which I advocate for every fucking day, but I've been called a racist and a bigot and a sexist and all this other bullshit, but that names don't even faze me. But, you know, like, I look up to MLK and, you know, like Jason Riley, I read his shit. What's the Laurie guy? Glenn Laurie, Thomas Sowell, fucking, you know, like, come on, man, get out of my face with all that bullshit. Like, I read all types of different people's shit. Like, I've read the Communist Manifesto. I just wanna read people's ideas, and then, you know, you can draw your own conclusions. But if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, I'm gonna go that way. But if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, like, you know, people are jumping into all this socialism bullshit without even, you know, really knowing shit about it. Like, you know, if you want to, you know, I don't know, but it's just like, man, like, you can have a welfare system, like, to help people out, but you can't make everything free. You just can't. There's no way to pay for it all. But anyway, we're not getting into political views. So yeah, but man, see, like, yeah, if I was getting high, I wouldn't even have an opinion. I wouldn't even be aware of what the fuck's going on and how this impeachment shit is whack. But yeah, man, it's just like, yo, how people are just so rude toward each other. When I say hi to people, there's that sun. When I say hi to people, like, they really look at me like I'm fucking crazy. And I'm like, yeah, you're not used to people saying hi, I guess, huh? It's just nuts, man. But yeah, I just wanted to say what's up and say it's a great day. Don't let nothing get you down. Because, you know,